Hello, this is Black Jester Matters. I'm the Black Jester, and good luck, Budai. Or good luck, Budai. Or, first and last name basically the same. I'm trying to sit up for this, but, well, I might just lie back. I don't know. We'll see. I should keep that away from the kitchen direction, shouldn't I? Much better that way, isn't it? I mean, a little cut off, too. At least it's a nice painting back there. My grandfather on my mother's side. Never met him. Too soon. Anyway, there's a nice card behind me, too. P.J. O'Rourke's book, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is a special thing. Keep forgetting to do. It's Black Jester Matters episode 29, but special here, it's take a pill. And this is, in lieu of coronavirus, it's kind of remind me of the problem with the Maoist scourge, the Red Menace of our era, and the fact that corona can't be a surprise. I mean, it's rather Darwinian in a way, like the fentanyl is. What we have here with the problem with the fentanyl is, well, oh dear, what are we going to talk about? I met a fellow who was a Scotsman. He was helping people out in the Lower East Side, but overdosing and stuff like that. And the overdoses were coming from this huge, well, it was coming from a chemical version of fentanyl. And it was very unique. They were suing an American pharmaceutical company, and that's not quite where it came from. I mean, I could show you these articles here, like these pieces from CBS News. Everyone knows how reliable they are. Truly terrifying. Chinese spoilers from Stat. I'm just going, basically put the search, go DuckDuckGo search on the description. Let you look around. But I was actually getting this from someone who was there and who's been a lot of places over the years, and he's a friendly Scotsman, and he was at a debate I was at in Carnegie Hall when I was running for not Carnegie Hall, Carnegie Community Center down in downtown East Side, where I was debating, and he's made a special statement. Trying to avoid the demagoguery of the usual, pointing fingers at each other stuff and saying, think about this issue. And, he made a very important point, which is something I kind of forget too sometimes, because generally speaking, it is true that people do try to kill themselves during drugs, and you can't force help, and you can't protect people from themselves. However, this is an instant kill drug. China has actually engaged in a warful act. They have declared war on the West. This ain't some mysterious error once in a while showing up. Now, this is an entire country whose drug manufacturing has led to countless deaths. Now, I say a lot of poor people die and stuff like that, but really the drugs get sold to people who are lower middle class and stuff like that. Anyone who thinks they're in pain or wants to hide from something. Basically, upper middle class kids tend to get bored and want to engage in nasty drug affairs, right? So what we have here, it was an important learning experience being at that point at the end of the debate, because it made me realize, okay, yeah, I realized that there was probably a drug problem where people are killing themselves and you couldn't force them out of it, but the fact that most drugs will let you get a chance to reverse the issue, because you can just get out of it or moderate or whatever. But this Chinese specific fentanyl, I'll lean back now, adjust the camera. This This Chinese, this Chinese fentanyl. That's real background, by the way. It's not the green screen stuff. I guess I could probably get one, but just more stuff. I don't have garages to set up a stage or anything. But we're talking about China engaging, and that was probably the first wave, I guess. This Corona release is sort of a terror end of things because it's really just killing people who, in my view, have one foot in the grave. They're already unhealthy. They're already unhealthy. They have heart disease and their old age usually. It's not just. It isn't people like. It's not most people. I mean, there are a lot of fat asses out there that might be having a hard time breathing that might also be affected. I don't know. But this coronavirus is a terror attack. The whole point of it was a terror message and stuff like that, and trying to scare people. And the best thing to do is not to be afraid. But this, and I guess they also felt, fentanyl wasn't doing enough of the job, so they did this. But fentanyl is still the worst thing that China puts out there, and is a direct attack on Western countries. By China, it's their own factory making this stuff, and where is anybody on this? I mean, Japan, America, anywhere, anyone trying to get cheap labor at a place which isn't really cheap to ship in and out of, apparently. Where are these people? They really want the people killed by, in video gaming, I always think the one-hit kill move was always a cheek and douchey thing to put into a game. And this is put into real life. People are dying all over. Some poor, some of it's Darwinian, but I mean, it's Darwinian if you have to take a bunch of it to die. If you're just taking a pill or two once in a while, and then you can't even moderate with something like this because it's just going to destroy you. This is a direct attempt at China to spread its Maoist reach. Just like Hawaii and the 5G, in which they are also exploiting poverty in order to build these cell towers on top of social housing buildings and stuff like that, claiming to alleviate cost, but really just part of crony capitalism, which aids Maoism. And I'm remiss to say Chinese because I don't want people to be attacked for being Chinese. I got relatives who are Chinese. In the appearance, I myself have an allergy to drugs that makes me somewhat like that too. I don't want mixed bloods or full bloods or whatever being attacked because they're conflated with Maoists. Maoists are people who probably get here now because only higher social credit levels can actually travel outside the country. Which might have been how the virus spread. It's probably someone with a huge high social credit level, who got out of Wuhan and traveled up, or a high-ranking official. Well, that's the thing. And here's the thing. They hit a terror wave with Corona. They started killing people with the fentanyl. And as a death sentence on drug users, first time or many times, trying a new thing, it doesn't matter. The fact that a first-time user would die is not good. And that's what this stuff does. This is an insidious evil. The fact that coronavirus is basically a distraction from that fucking evil is a very huge problem. It's not a big deal. It's a bloody sleight of hand if it isn't terrorism. And we need to open up our imaginations a little bit and think about what these pinkos are up to. Maoist, Soviet, National Socialists, they're all bad. They're all dangerous, and they all have to be stopped. We can't just tolerate this crap. And the fact is, we should pretty much treat them worse than we treat Iran. Although I'm not convinced Iran isn't necessarily part of it. Maybe that Minister of Health visited the Wuhan medical lab, knowing full well what China was doing. It's just a presumption. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you're into suspecting Iran of stuff, you might as well do that. But China is the source of this problem. It's the Maoists. Anyone invoking Maoists, defending Maoism, they are helping this happen. And that includes this corporate bullshit, the corporate bullpucky. Why did that move? This cronyism that leads to the ability to... I'm buying time so I make 30 minutes, by the way. I call it the quartering style. I don't know. I am really pissed about this shit. Because, I mean, I wrote a bit on this on my website after the election, when I learned about this in the first place, and it's pretty much not going to notice. I guess I could type that up on the thing and show it if I can find it. Should be near the top of Go Liberty. Van East dot. I guess BC Individualist be good enough. Oh shit. That's close enough. Could be .goliberty.org or vote meddling in Vancouver East. Nation reform. I should probably list the section too. Never forget police brutality. A lot of good things, actually. I should probably ramble right now about property rights. BC vote. I talked about a lot of issues, by the way. They all got ignored. Well, I've got a lot of foot traffic on my own, so it hurt like hell, but it was worth every time. When it comes to fighting for liberty, I'll suffer any kind of pain. Acknowledge traditional territory. That's a load of bullshit, too. Presumption of innocence. Need that, and apparently so did Weinstein. That evidence was not good, at least the reported evidence. If there was real evidence, they really should have shared it, because I'm pretty nervous about what the hell happened to him. Social issues and questions brought up by the Archdiocese. Had to answer their questions at some point. Homestead, crime. Personal responsibility, campaign materials. It's further back than I thought. I guess Carnegie was earlier than I thought. The others. Ending drug laws. Drug law, all federal. Oh, yeah, fentanyl and China's declaration of war. Maybe I should put that in there. For the longest time, I heard the endless grandstanding and your regular faux statements regarding fentanyl crisis. Then it really stands as a Chinese attack on the West. This very traveled Scotsman at a debate I was attending made a great plea to candidates to think about the issue. Not a fan of the UN, however, I agree and trust this knowledge, trust his knowledge on this, that the chemical base that is actually doing the killing is based in China, and they are proudly selling it. Websites offering free samples on top of everything, on top of search results. The bravado, this fucking evil, and they purposely. This bravado is a full stop. Sorry. This fucking evil, and they are purposely. That's not the best sentence structure, I admit. It was off the cuff straight. I was just being impassioned. Laying waste to us. In this, that was the. In this, what the NBA and Blizzard Activision stand for? Is this what powerful central controllers believe is a good trading partner? Zitfaces, and if you go to Zitfaces, you'll find the Urban Dictionary meaning I put in there. And the Zitface means a person or company that, Zitface was Z, of course, you see. A person or company that brown noses and acts kindly to totalitarian states like China. Don't be a zitface, say no to commies is a phrase you can use for it. But I would call it, basically, if you're sucking Chinese cock right now. But you never know when there's another era of these monsters. I'll put that on the, well, that's already here when I put this on there. I've got a couple languages on this thing too. But the fentanyl and Chinese declaration of war. That is a very important thing here. They've been talking about a fentanyl crisis in the news and stuff like that. None of them in the local news anyway were courageous enough to target the Chinese and blame it and target. They're letting people die just to suck up to China. We're going to send them the oil through the pipeline while they send us back fentanyl and possibly even diseases in their war plans and terror plans. And they're not going to get any shit for this. Blizzard Activision, they'll keep making their games and sucking up to China. NBA will keep sucking Chinese cock. There'll be, the politicians will be kneeling down and bowing to their master Z of China. Gotta stop this. You gotta tell your politicians that these people are scumbags. You gotta tell your politicians that these people have to be stopped. You gotta tell their friends, Trudeau, and even to some extent Trump. I don't know what Trump's game is. Sometimes he's just playing a con game with these tyrants and ends up winning. I mean, we haven't heard a peep out of North Korea. I mean, we're just, so who knows what he's after. We've got to make sure that they're shut out of trade completely. Cuba did less, and they've been embargoed. Not in Canada, but really probably should have been. I mean, we shouldn't kowtow to Pinkos, period. But when they start going beyond their borders with their horrendous problems, and I like they're gonna go, oops, we lost some stuff, but bullshit. Those commie bastards are liars. Chairman Z is a liar, or let's say Winnie the Pooh is a liar. Ooh, I didn't need it. Pooh, did you do that? I didn't need it. I was just gonna taste it. Oh, come and get your fentanyl, kids. It's candy. I mean, make memes if you want of Winnie the Pooh dealing fentanyl. That would be just awesome. That would make the point. Maybe I'll do that too. Maybe that'll be the picture of this thing. I'll find a Winnie the Pooh picture. I have a baggy image or something, and I'll just probably do that anyway. But hey, if you got a different one of your own, go for it. It's got to fight this thing. We'll make sure we can't let them forget it, like they're trying to forget Epstein. And this is a communist nation. This isn't a matter of due process. This is a pinko nation. They know exactly where the problem's coming from. They've done nothing to stop it, but they are definitely likely behind it. They've been presumed behind it because they're a lousy pinko nation that wants to conquer the world and spread their socialist bullshit around the world. They practically own the Democrats out there speaking out socialism. They practically own much of the kowtowing industry out there. It has to stop. We gotta stop these people from grandstanding and talking about fentanyl crisis. It's beyond just a fentanyl crisis. This disease spreading isn't a crisis. It's Chinese terrorism. The pills are Chinese acts of war. They've weaponized fentanyl in a way that is deadlier than anything that we've ever seen before. And this should be the real issue. If anything, if not a piece of if terror is just a byproduct they are happy about, this disease was spread just so people would forget about the fentanyl they're spreading around and all the crap surrounding the companies that suck their cock. Just joy out. I mean, it's just evil. It's sociopathic. It's a nightmare. I guess I'm well past 10 minutes. But I very much care about this. And these people are also buying and selling. These people are practically buying up Vancouver's real estate using these type of places like LE Homes. They're trying to convince the locals to sell them their land so they can have control over a Western North American location, I suppose. Or you think Vancouver isn't a world-class city because of the Olympics? If it's going to be a world-class city, it's going to be because it's going to be ground zero of a North American takeover. I mean, San Francisco's concerned. Where all these politicians, the Democrat debaters over the fentanyl crisis, Yang was the only one talking about any of it, but he wasn't really covering this part. Although he should probably be because he should explain he's not a Maoist for one, and so he's clear. But I'm sure maybe some people are thinking, well, this guy might be a Maoist. It's kind of a racist assumption, but a lot of them, although because he's not out there defending them. I mean, like some of the people out here in Vancouver who've been defending the Maoist government from here, and I'm kind of wondering, why are they here? Shouldn't they be deported if they think it's okay and they don't need the political asylum? They're perfectly safe. They must be gaming the system of political asylum so they can help take over the West. Can't let Picos win. Can't let them lose. They've done horrible things in the name as Soviets, as rapes purists, raping mineral water. The reign of terror, Soviet takeovers, Nazis, these pinko bastards, they've always been causing huge trouble. And then they're worse every time. The Maoists already killed a bunch of people in their revolution. And now they're after more and more blood, sending out more and more chemicals. And I had to say, Big Pharma isn't the one truly behind it. You can go ahead and sue Big Pharma all you want. But the real fentanyl problem is coming from a Chinese factory. And it's being smuggled through. It's being offered online from free samples from websites. It's got to be fought. And if anything, I mean, the drug warfare seems to be the ideal venue for these people. And I think I'll stop here because I just might repeat myself too much, and I don't want to do that to you. Thanks for listening. This is episode 29 of the Blockchester Matters, and on an issue that probably matters more than anything right now. Don't be so worried about the disease. Be much more worried about the distraction from the real problem, and that's the Chinese fentanyl. Thanks for listening. Good night, morning, afternoon, day, whenever.